Hello and welcome to the program Hot Button. Hygiene is as important to our relationship as it is to our life and our health. The problem is a lot of people do not know what it means to be hygienic or to be unhygienic. Everybody just goes according to how they please. My name is Johnny and I have with me on the program
Nathaniel William
and
Idowenyola.
Welcome to the program.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Good.
Thank you.
Today we are looking at a very, very important aspect of relationship that a lot of people do not pay attention to. And it is hygiene.
Okay.
So we're looking at hygiene and relationship. Now, how important is personal hygiene to a relationship?
Okay. To start with, if we may want to understand the word hygiene in the first place, you realize that it means to keep things neat,
Okay.
in order for them to stay healthy. So if things are not kept neat and clean, there is that possibility that if it is human being, for example, they will fall sick. And once somebody falls sick, you know what the next thing might be death or something. So hygiene for me is very important, and it is a matter of life and death.
It is a matter of life and death.
Yes.
Which means it is an extreme choice
Yes.
to make.
Yes.
It's either you're dealing with it or you're not.
Yes.
Let me hear from you.
Well, for me, hygiene is also very important because, you know, they say that health is wealth.
Exactly.
And I completely believe that when they say health is wealth, they're not just talking about malaria, typhoid, and all of that. And it begins from the inside. It begins from what you wear, how you come out to the public, and all of that. So hygiene is very, very important. Yeah, very, very important, because even when we were little, they will say, oh, wash your hands, those basic things that they teach in primary school. It is all for the hygiene, because when you have germs on your hand, it affects what you eat. So you can see that it starts from the physical and not just what you take in.
Okay, so it begins from the physical. Now, from what I gathered from your definition, you said it is a neat, is a way of keeping things neat.
Yes.
Based on something about health.
In order for them to stay healthy.
In order for them to stay healthy.
Yeah.
And then I just picked something. Why the word neat? Because neat is a higher level of being clean. So what if someone just decides to be clean? It doesn't really have to be neat. Is that possible to deal with when it comes to relationship?
I feel that neat, to me, is when you keep yourself clean. They say cleanliness is next to godliness.
Okay.
So once you keep yourself clean or neat, you will keep germs, sicknesses, and diseases away. As much as possible. Well, sickness can come, but let it not come from the fact that you are a dirty person or you didn't pay attention to your personal hygiene.
Okay.
So when you pay attention to your personal cleanliness, you are not likely to fall sick
And
because
that is the state of being neat.
Yes.
If you pay attention to your cleanliness, that's just the line I wanted to draw. You understand? You can be clean and then not pay attention to it. But when you pay attention to your being clean,
it's a deliberate effort.
That means you are neat.
Yeah, I feel it's a consistent thing.
Okay.
Someone can be clean, of course, but when people know that, oh, this person is always clean, by the time they want to talk about person, they'll say this person is a neat person. And I feel like clean is when you, of course, if you sweep your house is clean.
It's clean.
Do you understand? But for it to be arranged, well organized,
Place.
yeah, that's where the neat now comes from.
Okay.
Like that's where
Yes.
it comes in.
Okay, okay, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Now, how do you handle a situation where you meet someone, you're really attracted to this person, and the person has a poor sense of hygiene?
Personally, for me, I don't think I can be attracted to someone who has poor personal hygiene. I am not attracted to those kind of people.
Okay.
I am not in the first place. But if I see someone, you know, they say first impression matters.
It does matter.
If I see someone who I would like to be in a relationship with, I'm seeing her for the first time, naturally to me, that feelings will diminish. If I see her and she's not clean,
Okay.
maybe she's wearing dirty clothes, or she just came out of the house tattered or something, not taking care of herself properly.
Okay.
If I see her for the first time, the feelings I have for her will diminish at first. But it is not out of place to give her some time. Probably
Okay.
maybe she was in a place that made her look dirty. Maybe she was at
situation.
work or
Okay.
something, the farm or something. So it is not out of place to give her some time.
Okay.
So in our subsequent meetings, I will now get to know if truly it was that situation I saw her in that made
Okay.
her look that way.
Okay.
But now, if I now find out that truly she's not a clean person, she doesn't pay attention to her personal hygiene, I'll take a flight.
Wow. So poor hygiene could actually discourage someone
Yeah.
from even being attracted to us or
Yes.
even reaching out for a relationship.
Yes.
Okay, let me hear from you, Annie.
Well, for me, is correct.
Okay.
But there are some times that sometimes you might not know that the person is has a poor hygiene, basically. You might not know that
Yeah.
at the first instance
contact.
because a lot of people have poor hygiene,
Yeah.
Okay.
but they come out really
Yeah,
clean, well kept, ironed, well ironed, starched clothes.
That's the
And
outlook.
exactly the outlook, but when you get to know the person
Lesser,
inside,
yeah.
Okay.
then you realize that the person is a dirty person.
Okay.
I've once dealt with such a person. In fact, he doesn't even wear one clothes 2 times. He is that clean on the outside, but inside, he does not know how to clean his house. He cannot sweep. He cannot wash his clothes. Do you understand? He takes his clothes home. You know, those basic things. And of course, it was when we started the whole friendship thing that I got to know that, oh, this person is like that.
Wow.
So sometimes they might come out really clean,
Yeah.
but they are not.
They're not.
So in such a situation, for someone like Nat now that has a very, should I say, very low tolerance for that,
Okay.
if she gets to know that, oh, this is the kind of person that you are, people pretend. People
Okay.
pretend
Okay.
a lot. And you might not know. First week, second week, she'll clean, she'll, you know, cook and all of that until you just go one day unannounced,
Wow.
you know, and then you begin to see some things that
Yeah. See the real person.
like, wow. and
What
all
you're
this.
saying is, if someone appears clean, do not pass a judgment yet. Do not assume that
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 the person has a
person
good hygiene.
has a good hygiene.
Yeah.
It takes time to really discover how hygienic
It takes you
someone
going into
is.
their home,
Okay.
their house.
Being
Do you
close to
understand?
the person.
Exactly. For you to now
Consistently, yeah.
realize that, oh, this person is like this. And in that situation, when I noticed that this was how this person is, because it's not like something that they are, it takes time for them to change because
Okay.
it's their person.
Exactly. And if you keep on living a very poor hygienic life, it becomes a part of you.
Yeah. And you that have a good hygiene, you might become nonchalant a little bit, because in a situation where you want to just find a balance, you begin to, you know, I don't know, you might not necessarily be very, very comfortable with it.
Okay.
But in a situation where naturally to you, you might not, maybe somebody puts a pure water here, and then naturally to you, you won't like it. Naturally, you will pick
Okay.
it up.
Okay.
But in a situation where you're trying to gel, you're trying to find an equilibrium between you and the person,
Yeah, that's
you begin to see it and you're like, you know, take away those little things that you will naturally not.
like.
Do you understand
Wow.
me? Yeah, so.
So, how about a situation where you're already in a relationship with a person from the beginning, from the earliest moment you have made your judgment? This person is neat. This person is clean. And then you find out later on that, whoa, this person is not actually clean. This person has a poor hygiene. Or
is-
maybe, let me make it even clearer, or the person has been neat all along, but all of a sudden it's beginning to wane, you know, away. There is no passion to be hygienic anymore. How would you handle that?
Okay, like I said before, I'm not attracted to people that don't pay attention to their personal hygiene.
Okay.
So if I am in a relationship with someone who I assume to be clean, and I later realize that, or maybe something changed along the way. If something changes along the way, I might want to draw her attention to the things I have observed over time.
Okay.
And I will want to do that in a way that I don't annoy her. Or I don't
Okay.
make it look like I'm downcasting her or something.
Okay. Okay.
So, but there is need to draw her attention to it. I
There
can't
is
cope.
need.
I can't tolerate staying with
Such a person.
such a person.
So there is need
Yes,
to
to draw her
the person's
attention, to
attention.
correct.
And by drawing, because I'm very, very careful at the word now, drawing attention, it doesn't necessarily mean you are telling the person
That you are
or
dirty.
if the person drops a cup here, you just kindly come, pick it up. Ah, this cup shouldn't be here. It should be there.
Yeah, let me
That's
tell
like
you so-
drawing an attention to
Yeah.
it, but you're not necessarily telling
Yeah.
the person, why did you keep it there?
Yes.
You're dirty and all that kind of
Yes,
stuff.
yes. When I am in a relationship, in some of our discussions, there will be times that we talk about what makes me like the person, what attracted me to her in the first place, why I like her.
Okay.
So I will mention that why I like her so much is because she keeps good personal hygiene.
Okay.
Once I let her know that, she will understand that if anything changes, I will not like it.
Okay.
So once I point out that to her, that this is one of the reasons I like her, she should know that if she goes otherwise, I wouldn't want
Like her
that
anymore.
Yes.
Let me hear from you, Annie.
Well, like Nat said, communication is very important
Okay.
in a relationship.
Okay.
Communication is key.
Very key. In
And there can
everything
be
in life.
verbal communication and non-verbal. I
Exactly.
mean, you might decide to speak up and you might decide to do those things for them to know, oh, this is what you're trying to pass. This is the message I'm trying to pass
yeah.
across. Like he said also, when you put a cup here, for example, and you don't want it here, first day, you take it out. Second day, you take it out. If the person is an observant person, the person will notice that
You don't like
this
that cup
person
to
doesn't
be there.
like this thing to
Or
be
maybe
here.
the poor hygiene could be so much and the person doesn't even pay attention that you're moving the cup.
If the person doesn't pay attention and you you have to go verbal.
Okay?
I don't like this, I don't like this.
Yeah, I have to
And
speak
if
up.
over the time the person doesn't still change it, then it's left to you to make your decision if you still want to go into that relationship or not. Because if you're looking at a long-term
Effect.
relationship with that person,
Oh, yeah.
you will have kids.
Definitely. And the things are going
What-
to get worse.
Exactly. What do you want to teach the kids? And of course, when people start having kids, the house start getting disorganized. And all. So if you're not a natural clean person that you can, arrange your things the way you would like it to be,
Wow.
what would your house look like? A jungle? Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's just basic. It depends on
Okay.
the goal of that relationship. If it's just a one-way thing, okay. But if it's a long-term thing, then I think you need to just sort it out. If
Okay.
you can't cope, just move.
So nobody wants to have a junk, yard for a house, and everybody wants the house to be clean and then in order.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering, everybody says, I will draw her attention. I'm going to let the person, I want to know how, because a lot of people do not know how to approach people when it comes to personal hygiene.
Yeah.
A lot of people, it's very difficult to approach someone and say, hey, you have a mouth odor, you have a body odor. Yeah, there is this thing that oozes out of you when you're around. I mean, it's a very, very discomforting statement to make to somebody. So in a case like that, how should you approach a partner with a case of maybe body odor, mouth odor, or just general, how do I put it now? General carelessness.
You can be nice.
And at home, how do you go about that?
You can be nice. It depends on the communication.
Okay.
You can be nice. Maybe if the person has mouth odor, you can start from buying mouthwash, putting it in the house, making it a regular thing, making the person see reasons why you need to use it.
Okay.
Do you understand me? Because who really wants to tell somebody your mouth is smelling? That's
it's very hard to say.
That's very hard to
difficult.
say.
Okay.
And who wants to tell somebody you smell? So I think it's from gestures for me. Maybe buy mouthwash, buy cologne, deodorant. Just make it kind of, it will look quite romantic. But you know, you have a reason why you're doing it. So the person begin to see it as, oh, my girlfriend buys me cologne, I don't even need to buy, she buys me that always. Do you understand me? Or maybe we always have mouthwash in the house or something like that. You can just, do those little things and see reasons why the person should use it. It might not come from the angle of your mouth is smelling. It can come from, oh, it is good for the health. Brush twice a day, bathe twice a day. Do you understand? And if you are doing it, you might, start compelling the person to see reasons why the person needs to do it. So like that, I think,
yeah, there's a way
you can actually
like,
do
hey,
it.
I'm going to brush before I sleep. Have you brushed?
Or
I'm not
let's
gonna call
brush
you back.
together,
Yeah.
or those. When you watch American movies, you see them brushing together.
Let's video call and then brush together at the same time.
Seriously,
I'm making fun.
Exactly, you make it fun. You make it seem like, oh, this is a personal quality time we're spending together.
I didn't actually see you brush your tongue. Can you do that? Can we do that again? Let's do that. Hey,
So yeah,
and it could be fun.
Yes,
you can. And then you're gradually passing the message.
Exactly.
Wow. Let me hear. What other practical way do you think we could?
Yeah, there's some words you can put out there for the person that will make her think that she should, or he or she should sit up and, check her personal hygiene.
Okay.
So you could say things like, I like the way you smell when you have your shower.
When you have a shower, you put a time to it.
I know somebody that tells his girlfriend, I like you when you smell fresh.
Yes!
Do you understand?
Stuff like that.
When you smell fresh means like your smell when you just come out of the bathroom. So I like it when you smell fresh. So you can imagine that kind of, statement.
That's a way of telling that person that he or she should take her bath on time.
And take notes too.
Yeah. I like it when you wear a new shirt. A new shirt does not necessarily mean the one you bought from the market recently. The one you just brought out and then it's clean and then you wear. So you can put up some words like that make the person understand that there is need to always change your clothes when it is time. Don't wear one clothes for too long.
When people say, what did you give your person for Valentine's? And you say, oh, are you giving him boxers again? Are you giving him? You can use those things though. Those things can work.
Yeah,
you can just randomly buy a new pack of singlets, new pack of boxers, and you're like, oh, I just feel like this ones you're using are getting old. Gestures.
Yes.
Because it is something that could come across as you trying to like demean the person.
So you won't want to.
So you would want to approach it in a very careful
and the thing is,
delicate way.
When you say it once, if I come to you and say, oh, okay, I think you have a body odor. When you just, maybe when the person is around and do you get? now, that's not even it. When you're around the person, maybe I already told you, for example, that you have a body odor. When I sneeze beside you, you feel insecure because you feel like, oh, maybe
It's
I'm
because of
smelling
your
again.
yeah.
Do you
Yeah,
understand?
yeah.
That's it,
Or
so.
when I just, do this, you're like, is it because I'm swelling? Is it? So you won't want, that thing can actually start crumbling
Yeah,
the relationship.
exactly.
The person
Yeah.
won't feel comfortable around you and all that. So
And it's actually not very comfortable to stay with someone who has poor hygiene. It's really not comfortable.
Yeah, it
when
is.
you stay with such a person, the next thing you're thinking of is when to leave. Or
Yeah.
when the person should leave.
Leave. Yeah.
So I think it's very, very important to, handle the issue of
Personal
hygiene,
hygiene.
very, 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 very carefully. Now, there is another side to this thing we're talking about. I have seen someone who told another person, "You are too neat.
Okay.
You are too neat." And some people are having a problem with it. How can I just step in your room and then you're sweeping it?
that's on another level.
I mean, how can I put, I just drop something and then you're washing it or you're cleaning it? So, should being too hygienic also cause a problem in a relationship?
It can. Oh.
Let's talk about it.
It can.
We say there's a problem when you have a poor hygiene. And then here is someone who is equally neat, clean, but is telling you, you are too hygienic.
Well, the word too hygienic already shows you that there is a problem.
So a problem with being too hygienic.
Anything too much is not good. So once somebody says you are too, it means that there is already a problem.
So when you're too neat, it could also be a problem. We need to understand, especially you love somebody, and then the person is not as hygienic. The person could be neat,
Yeah.
but not as much as
you are. Yeah.
Respect the fact that the person is already neat, and you could gradually build it over time.
But you that you're already too neat, you need to also
Calm
Drop
down
down
a
a
little
little
bit.
drop
bit.
down
Yeah.
a little bit.
We must
for-
compromise so we can have a
exactly,
balance.
exactly.
Wow, that's great. Now, how does obsessive compulsive disorder affect a relationship where I'm extremely neat and you are just basically neat?
Okay.
How does it affect a relationship?
First and foremost, it becomes stress. It becomes stress. It's like, why can't I just be? Why should this pillow be at the back? Why can't I sit and bring the pillow here and then relax and then, do you understand what I'm saying? Why must the pillow why must I sit and just rest on my back?
Because you just can't
Because
be...
the pillow must not live where it is. Do you
and then you become
understand me?
uncomfortable around the person.
Yeah.
Because
You
you don't
become
know when you do
uncomfortable.
something that he doesn't like.
Exactly. So
Oh,
you become
wow.
uncomfortable, there's this, even if you're cautious, you're trying to, be the way the person wants you to be, not the way
You want to be. Okay,
Okay.
let me hear because we're running out of time already.
Okay, I'll come from the perspective of trying to understand what OCD is. Obsessive compulsive disorder. This is a mental condition that comes with intrusive thoughts, unwanted thoughts that make someone do one thing repeatedly.
Okay.
To the extent that it interferes with his or her day-to-day achievements and activities. So when you ask how does OCD affect relationship, once you know that definition I'm trying to put out,
Yeah.
you understand that once it interferes with your day-to-day activities and your general achievements in life, it's a problem.
It is a problem
Yes.
already.
So, for example, you wanted to go visit a barber shop and you don't have all the time and you are busy washing your shoe.
Yeah.
You spend the whole time washing your
Washing
shoe
your shoe.
alone, or you brush your teeth for too long. It affects your achievements for the day
For the day. Talk
and it will affect your relationship.
more of your
And
relationship.
He
Yes.
mentioned something. He said it is a mental thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
mental
So
issue.
how do you want to change someone whose issue is
It's
mental?
mental.
It's even considered disorder.
Disorder,
Exactly.
yeah.
So
Okay.
how do you want to cope with that?
Yeah.
Wow. So it does affect a relationship.
And
And it's not something, it's not a sickness you inherit from somewhere.
No.
It
Yeah.
begins from being too careful.
Yeah,
Yes.
Being
exactly.
too, everything must be this, everything must be that, this must be
I don't want to make
very
mistakes.
clean.
I don't want to,
And let me say something. There are two mental conditions that affect our personal hygiene.
Okay.
Number one is OCD,
Okay.
obsessive
Compulsive.
disorder. Number two is depression. If
Okay.
somebody is depressed, he's likely to withdraw from his or her activities in general for life,
Wow.
like including taking care of her personal hygiene.
Okay.
He or she will withdraw from washing her clothes, from keeping neat, from doing everything.
Why OCD
and that will,
takes you
what
to
OCD will
extreme
make
cleanliness,
you, yes,
this brings you down to absolute dirtiness.
yes,
Can go
Wow.
two ways.
two
Okay,
ways.
now,
So,
very quickly, because we must do this very quickly. How should we assist one another? How should we assist each other, especially in a relationship, to, regarding our hygiene when in a relationship?
okay, in addition to what we have said before, I have said before,
Okay.
when you say, what will you do? And I would say that there is need to talk to the person. Personally, you have personal conversation. Try to find out what the problem is with him or her. It might be mental issues.
Okay.
It might be depression or OCD or something. So try to understand what the problem is. Try to understand his or her background,
Okay,
where he or she came from. Because so sometimes somebody can come from a place where they don't care about personal hygiene. So when you understand that, you know how to discuss with him or her about
All right.
what the issue
problem?
is.
Okay,
Yeah.
let me hear from you.
Yeah, I feel like communication is
Okay,
very important.
key, yeah.
And in a situation where you try talking to the person and the person is still not getting your point, I think you can ask for help. I mean, in a situation where the person has OCD, for example, and you're trying to balance it, but it's not. So you
Working.
need to ask other people, maybe professionals in terms
Okay.
of the health
Yeah.
sector, maybe doctors or
Okay.
something, about what you can also do to help the person. So you know if it is just basic or it is actually
Advanced
a
level.
big issue, yeah,
Okay.
a big problem. So
Okay,
you can also
and
do
by saying communication, which means we have to talk about this thing from the very beginning.
beginning.
I'm a very clean person. I like everything clean. Are you? And we could talk about it before we start looking for this balance.
yeah.
If I know you are not so neat as I am, we can agree from the beginning. Okay, I'll try
Yes.
to tone down a little bit while I expect you to come up a
Come
little
up.
bit, and then we can have a balance.
balance, yeah.
There is
Yeah.
nothing wrong with being clean. There is
No.
nothing wrong with being neat. But if you are too neat, you begin to subject people who are even neat to the point that they are not even neat enough.
Yeah, they're even checking themselves. Like,
Then it becomes
really.
a problem. And if you are too dirty, you're going to, it doesn't help.
You even chase people
You're going
away.
to drive away people
Yeah.
from even, drawing your attention at all.
Yeah.
People are just going to keep moving away from you. So cleanliness, as the Bible says, is godliness, which means before you even approach the state of worshiping God, you don't just clean yourself spiritually, you must clean yourself physically. God doesn't like that. That is why cleanliness is said to be next to godliness.
Yeah.
Approach God as your heart is clean, so should you be physically. So I thank you guys for being on the program today.
It's my
It
pleasure.
has been very, very inspiring, and I'm sure someone out there has actually learned a lot from it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, that's the most we can take on the program Hot Button today. We believe your hygiene is working well for you. Do something about it if you are on the low side. Do something about it if you are on the highest point of cleanliness. And that way we can have a mutually hygienic relationship. Thank you for being a part of us. Join us again same time. Bye for now.